this tutorial, we are going to make a switch and PC configuration from scratch. We will have two switches. Each switch will be connected to one PC. Both the switches will be connected to each other. And we will run some commands on our switches. Those commands are right here. We'll have commands like enable configure terminal, enable secret Cisco, then encrypting the line console, login, line VTY, transport input telnet. That is the main aim of this experiment. We will configure our network and then we will try to telnet from one PC to a PC connected to another switch. Then we are going to look at service password encryption, interface fast Ethernet, how to uh, how to configure interfaces, how to give IP addresses to our switches, and how to give IP default gateway. So let us start. We will need two switches and two PCs. So I'm going to choose the 2960 switch right here. I'm going to drop two, and then I will want two PCs like that. I will use the auto connect cable to connect to my PCs and connect my routers. Okay, we'll just wait for this all to turn green and then we'll start with the configuration of each switch. Starting with switch 0. As you can see, the lights are turning green. We'll start configuring. The first command is enable. Enable means that, okay, so we have three modes in networking. We have three modes when we want to access our devices. That is the user mode, the enable mode, and the config mode. So right now we want to configure, so we want to use the command enable. Then config is another command, and now we want to change the name of our switch to switch left enable secret Cisco. So line console 0 specifies that we are configuring the console line and we are also putting a password on it of Cisco. So we are keeping the password same for simplicity, and this password will be asked when the user wants to log in. Now we exit from this and now we configure our line VTY. Line VTY means the virtual terminal lines. We want we want to transport input telnet on terminal lines 0 to 4. So we can have four telnet sessions running concurrently. So line VTY 0 space 4 login local transport input telnet, and now we give a username and password to this. And we want to encrypt this because this will remain in plain text format. And if you want to check that, you can check show running config. Here you can see the password is in plain text format. So I'm going to go back to my switch in the config mode, and I'm going to write transport. I'm just going to write service password encryption. That should be enough. And now if I go and do show run, the password is encrypted. So now that is done. And you can also see that transport input telnet has been set from line VTY 0 to 4. Now it's time to configure our port lines. So interface. So let's see here. We want to configure 0/1. 0/1 will be connected to the PC. So actually, this is actually like one network here and one network here. So we'll first give an IP address to our router, and we'll also give fast Ethernet 0/2 a speed of 100. So interface. We'll go back into the line console. I think we don't need to go into line console. We'll simply write interface fast Ethernet 0/2. Give it a speed of 100. Then the default management um, VLAN in case of switch is interface VLAN 1. We'll give it an IP address of 10.1.1 dot say. I mean, since it's a switch, I'll actually give it a IP address of .2 and default gateway of 255.0.0.0 and no shutdown there. I'll also give it a default gateway of 10.1.1, and that is it. We'll just do show IP int brief, and we can see that fast Ethernet 0/1 and 2 are both up, and my VLAN has been set to 10.1.1.2. Now I'll go to the PC and give it an IP address as well. I'll give it an IP address 10.1.1 say 5 and a subnet mask of 255.0.0.0. The default gateway would be 10.1.1.1. Similarly, we are going to do this for the other two components as well. And I'm going to quickly forward it to the point where everything is configured. So I've done the configuration for switch 1 as well. As you can see right there, I've given it a name of host name, switch right, given it a password of Cisco, and followed all the other steps. I've given this an IP address of 10.1.1.10 with a subnet mask of 255.0.0.0 and a default gateway of 10.1.1.1, which is the same as the switch 0. Now show IP int brief. You can see that both 0/1 and 0/2 are up. I'm yet to give this PC an IP address, so I'll go to IP configuration 10.1.1. Let's give this 7. I had given 5 to the earlier one, and the subnet mask will be this, and the default gateway will be 10.1.1. Now that we are done with all that, we can go to a command prompt and try to telnet from this PC 10.1.1.7. It has been refused. Well, actually, the default gateway cannot be. Okay. Uh, The issue over here is that, okay, let's try to telnet 10.1.1.10. This one is dot 2 and the other one is dot 10. Okay, so I'm able to telnet. Okay, the reason I wasn't able to telnet was because telnet is not done on a PC, it's done on a switch. So I put my password for, so Aditya is not the right username. It's actually modal. So I have to put, it's actually Harry. I had put Harry as my username for the other switch. And you can see that I can now make changes in switch right using telnet. Similarly, from PC1, I can telnet into 10.1.1.2, and the password Aditya is my username and Cisco is my password. So that completes my lab. That completes our lab on configuring switches and configuring telnet access on these switches.